Hi, I am Juan Carlos. Today I will give you this webinar that deals with the story of beef. The traditional of air beef as passed down generation to become an ingredient part for many of regular diets. Beef proportion proteins, bacon which 40 calories, beef has can be store. Prácticamente ha sido importante para el desarrollo del ser humano y tiene una historia muy trascendente. The history of beef. Ancient beef. Beef as and beat a step meat are in the world of millions, dating back as far as batting back far as prehistory. Coyotes origin in the Old World have been domestic arians with meat hints of livestock become apparent. It is difficult to estimate the price points where beef become a cooked delicious. It is difficult to estimate the price points where beef become a cooked delicious. Although its problem to following the domestic diet, following these people were able to difficulty space various switch to vegan ways of the meat of dairy products such as milk and cheese. The British freedom. Beef consumption and frame has existed in Britain of a long time, and the country is considered to be a point in beef breeding. Britain is home to swear-kite birds which serve different functions. That include the Abel Angus, a group of Britain of most wilder canoe kites bear come to of its Nile quill beef. The heart is another particularly notable breed which explicitly the novating breeding technique. The Spaniard bring to cow to Andes. This species is prevalent in the America today. Kyle was not endemic to continent and was very much European export. The Spanish are known to be the French export to cow to the Christopher Colomb is credit which introduced cows to the country in 1493, introduced the space to the modern day República Dominicana, called which springs toward Mexico, and modern day Texas and Spanish colonies entered into America, expanding like the founding for the famous Texas lager bread. Gauchos. The concept of the gauchos dated last 19th century and removed national symbol in a number of Latin American countries, especially like Argentina. Tight note dissimilar to the American cowboy. Essentially, Skylar Holmes know of penning relatively in kite drive has hand of tonally some Liverpool aren't guacho like this cowboy in America has they become remembered figured and ever today cultural symbol. Cowboy and cattle given the cowboy in one of the most pony and wheel record symbol of America. Very similar to guachos, the spins difference incorporated. Cowboy are the culture prevalent in 19th century, no maniple of the Wascale Divine of Texas. Japan beef. While the super beef bear is a meat of debate and professional preference, that is to be man of the quill to Japan beef which many associated with and sent to of present tied to most notable were Wagyu and Kobe, the last bearing national novel. With Japan Kayet has its original China, the bearing innovation and are will try on Kobe beef is delish remember of its flavor and texture. Kobe and several other kinds of Japan beef are important throughout the world. Better be many of the quality. The beef industry today. Beef is consumers are to work in the press diet as they try most whether consume meat, appropriate and pork. Third, third is a new universal try marker of the industry today. The United States, Brazil, and China. The United States, Brazil, and China are the world's largest consumers of meat, with light to spread time is terms of consumers. Brazil and Australia are the world's largest produce and export of beef. Beef is central to the economy of Latin America since it is industrializations be to Spain. Thai industry has evolved exponentially and grabbing includes complex Since its early popularity, despite hard consumers about the negative effects of beef, conspiracy are become increasingly clear and well documented. A try was shown nothing of where the beef industry in the present time its perhaps points of future where the meat is less well consumed. Below a small video.
About 2 million years ago, early humans hadn't figured out farming yet, so they mainly relied on collecting fruits, tree bark, tree roots, and even insects to survive, as did several other hominid species, including one called Australopithecus. But around this time, a change began to happen, not among the humans, but the climate. An ice age was beginning, and for many humans, long portions of the year were marked by cold temperatures and food shortages. To overcome this obstacle, the solution Australopithecus came up with was to eat a higher quantity of lower quality plants like weeds and grasses, while Homo sapiens, that's us, found that in times of scarcity, animal meat and bone marrow could supplement fruits, and actually provided greater amounts of protein and access to different important nutrients that only a few plants could provide. If you look around today, only one of us is still around, as Australopithecus died out around 2 million years ago, and it's thought that their different feeding habits influenced their eventual demise. In this way, eating meat helped save humans from extinction. Ever since then, humans have been hunting and eating animals to satisfy parts of their diet, and eventually figured out that if we captured some of their young and raised them alongside us, we didn't have to put ourselves in danger and could have a reliable source of food. This process of training and breeding animals to coexist with humans is called domestication, and any animal we raise for the purpose of eating or deriving some other value out of, like for their eggs, milk, or leather, is called livestock. And although today many of these are found all over the world, each one had to have come from somewhere specific, and each one has an interesting story behind their domestication. So let's get the big one out of the way first: chickens. The term chicken actually used to mean just the young ones, while the term fowl was used for the whole species. That's why we still call all young birds chicks, even if they aren't chickens. Honestly, I could do a whole video about chickens, so I hope you're ready for this. Modern-day chickens are the domesticated form of what's called the red jungle fowl, a bird that struts along the floor of tropical forests, scratching seeds and other foods out of the soil. In the wild, the red jungle fowl originated over an area stretching from India into China and down into Southeast Asia, making it all the way to Sumatra. And to this day, there are still wild populations of junglefowl throughout this area. Although out of the red junglefowl initial range, the earliest definitive evidence of chicken domestication comes out of Hebei province in China and would have occurred around 7,400 years ago. From China, the domesticated chicken quickly spread east, with evidence of domesticated chickens in India from around 7,000 years ago. By around 5,000 years ago, they made it to Anatolia and into Eastern Europe not long after. Evidence of chickens in the Middle East only go back to 4,000 years, and they only reached Egypt around 3,400 years ago, or by about 1400 BCE. The shocking part about all this, however, is that the chicken had not been domesticated for farming or even consumption yet. Instead, this entire time, or for the first 5,000 years after chickens were first domesticated, they were being used for the sole purpose of cockfighting, both as entertainment as well as gambling. The first evidence we have of people actually farming and eating chickens comes from only 2,300 years ago in the ancient Israeli city of Maresha. It was here that a tremendous collection of over 1,000 chicken bones were found. These bones were mostly from female chickens, so they couldn't have been used for cockfighting. There were many fully mature bones, so they weren't being selectively killed at birth, and most importantly, the bones bear markings from knives, indicating that they were being cooked and cut up. With 19 billion total chickens alive today on Earth, grown solely for their meat, I think it's safe to say we use them more for eating than gambling now. And our domestication of the chicken has made it the most populous bird on the planet, with 2.5 chickens for every human on Earth. Okay, I think I'm about done with chickens. Cows, which also go by the name cattle, are actually older than domesticated chickens, and they can trace their wild heritage back to a beast known as an auroch, which has since gone extinct. But we still know what they look like because they are one of the most common images to have been recorded as cave paintings. Yeah, they look a lot like cows, that's kind of the point. These were an incredibly versatile animal that really only needed grass to survive. Because of this, they basically originated anywhere with grass, and their range spreads all the way from Western Europe through Asia all the way to China. DNA analysis, however, indicates that the domesticated cow we're familiar with today likely originated from just around 80 oryx, near the village of Çanyotepe in modern-day Turkey, maybe even by a single group of people, which is really crazy if you think about it. Cows that came out of this domestication event are called taurine cows, and sometimes mistakenly called European cows. A second domestication event happened, however, which resulted in Indocene cows, which, if you couldn't tell by the name, happened near the banks of the Indus River in modern-day Pakistan. These look notably different from most cows we're used to, featuring, among other things, a large hump on their back. Instead of cows, these can also be called zebu, and not everyone agrees that they should be considered the same,